Welcome back, everyone, to our third episode of Movie Chats. A bit of a different episode this week. We've got our very first guest, Jacob Watches Films. Jacob, how you going?
G'day. Thank you for having me. Very excited to be here.
Welcome.
I forgot to ask you before we started. Jacob or Jake or Jakey
Jacob?
Poo?
No Jake around here. Jakey Poo. I'll allow that. Some of my friends call me the package, but no, Jacob's good.
Yeah, cool. No worries. Geoff and Buddy, how you going?
Very good.
Sick. Yeah,
Actually, not very good. Me and Chelsea are sick too.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Chelsea's waiting for a PCR result, so I guess if she has it, I have it too. But I feel pretty good. We're at the end of it, so.
Did you end up with COVID, Geoff?
I haven't come back with COVID, or at least the tests aren't saying that. I think maybe it's a sinus infection. So I'll try to mute as best I can when I'm blowing my nose. So, you know, I'm one of those guys who gets really agitated when people keep sniffing. So I won't put anybody through that.
Yeah.
I'll say hello to the chat very quickly. It won't take long. Well, it's 2 days after Christmas, so I think a lot of people are away on holidays at the moment. But Yokai from Japan joined in again this week. How you going? So glad you could jump back on. Chelsea, how you going? I hope you're feeling better as well. Daniel, how you going, mate? Brad and Jazz, even dropping in to say good day, not sure about to watch through, no worries at all. We'll get stuck into it. Where am I? We got our movie we watched recently. I don't even know if we told you we do this, Jacob. We just pick out a movie we watched recently, just give it a little...
no, I can handle that.
Yeah. We'll start with Geoff. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, cool. I watched a great Aussie flick on Netflix yesterday because I was really crook the last few days. I was just sleeping on and off all day. Put this movie on that just popped up. I thought, stuff will do it. It's called The Strangers. It's based on true events. I don't want to give too much away. It's about a criminal, and he sort of gets invited into a criminal family, but not everything's, or not a syndicate or something, I guess you say, not a family, but not everything's what it seems to be. I don't want to give it away because that's kind of the honeypot of the film. As you go along, it all sorts to unravel and you see what's actually happening. But by the end of it, you'll be like, yes, that was the outcome that we really wanted. So I'd check it out. It's really good. It's got Joel Edgerton in it and some other great Aussie actors that I can't think of at the moment because I'm sick. But yeah, it was fantastic. I really enjoyed it.
Sean Harris in that, not Aussie, but he's incredible in it as the other main guy. Good film.
Yeah,
I watched that a while ago. It was really good. What do you got for us, bud?
All right. So I almost watched The Stranger last night, actually, but we didn't want to watch something like really dark. So we watched Zoolander instead, but that is not my most recent watch. This morning we watched the new All Quiet on the Western Front movie, finally. It was fantastic. I haven't seen the original 1930s one, so I can't really compare it to that. But it was a fantastic war movie, and it just takes you right in with it. And if you just like any war movie, really, just give it a go and watch it with subtitles.
Unless you speak
definitely.
German, you
Don't-
probably get by.
Oh yeah, it was fantastic. Yeah, we just watched it a few hours ago.
Well, I rewatched a movie that I haven't seen since it came out, The Way of the Gun, and it was fucking awesome. I've always I couldn't remember much about it, but I always remembered how much I liked it, and I was even surprised when I rewatched it how good I thought it was. My opinion has never wavered since then. Basically, it was awesome. It's got Ryan Felipe, Benicio del Toro, James Caan, Juliette Lewis. Just about a couple of criminals that kidnap a woman who's pregnant as a surrogate mother to some rich people, and it's just like a neo-noir crime sort of drama thriller from 2000. It was awesome. Highly recommend. I don't know if it's streaming anywhere. I watched it. I had to buy a $200 Blu-ray set to watch it.
It's on Stan, apparently. I'll check it out because it sounds good.
It's so
on
good.
On what? Sorry.
Stan.
Stan.
Yeah,
the dialogue
check
in that movie is just top notch. The conversations they have when just in those boring bits, it's like so good.
And the last act is awesome. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's such a good film. So underrated. Like, no
That
one.
cast sounds great.
It's one of those films no one talks about, but yeah, it is. It's really great.
I
think the
never got around to watching it. Yeah.
The guy that directed it did like a couple of Mission
Yeah.
Impossibles, Jack Reacher and Christopher McQuarrie or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
So yeah, highly recommend checking that out. What about you, Jacob? Did you manage to think of one in the last?
Yeah. I mean, I've been watching a lot of Stallone stuff in prep for today, but one I watched for the first time yesterday that I can't believe I let it get this long was The Muppet Christmas Carol. Getting in the spirit for that. But I've been watching some of the older Muppets films lately because I haven't seen them, and it was a delight. The little Kermit the Frog, Tiny Tim dude made me cry my ass off. It's such a great telling of that story. Like I really want like a modern day big budget Muppet movie because they had such incredible sets in that and captured the tone really well and just all the performers. Yeah, no, that's probably the best thing I've watched recently that like was a first timer for me.
Well, they did do like a modern Muppet movie with Jason Segel.
And yes, it was great, but I want more.
Yeah. I loved those movies when I was a kid growing up. They were always good.
Cool. I'll catch up with the chat because a few more people have dropped in. The Timmy, hey, made it in time. Kara, Harrow, the Octopus, just returned from blowing up kids. Okay. I really enjoyed All Quiet as well. Very confronting. Yeah, I actually really want to see that myself.
Yeah, the cinematography was excellent.
Wayno is the closest that we have to a Muppet. Yeah. It's a popcorn in the kettle black. I don't see the Muppets, but I'll add it to the watch list for next Christmas. Cool. All right. Do you want to give us some news, buddy?
All right. Yeah, I wrote a few movie news headlines down. I don't know if you keep up with news, Jacob, as much as I do.
Somewhat.
So if you know any that happened this week that I didn't write down, feel free to chime in. Didn't seem like a big news week compared to last week, but probably the biggest thing that came out, and we all knew it was going to happen. Black Adam 2 is not going forward, and Dwayne Johnson is not going to be in the first chapter of the new DC universe whenever that gets started. No surprise there. He's heaps salty about how it flopped, and he's trying to say on social media every day how it's profitable still.
Making up fake numbers and shit.
Making up fake numbers, yeah. He's like so salty about that. Any thoughts? Wayno, Geoff? No?
Not many.
I don't really. I probably won't even watch Black Adam. Like, I just.
Yeah, it was awful.
I watched it
like 2 months late.
Yeah, I fell asleep halfway through it and caught the end of it again. Like it just didn't captivate me at all. It looked good, like all those superhero movies do. Like the visuals were fantastic, but it was just another generic superhero movie to me.
That kid in Black Adam is probably the worst child actor I've ever seen in my life. He's all right.
He was annoying.
The next Alien movie is being filmed, start filming in February next year, and it's being directed by Fede Alvarez, who did Evil Dead and Don't Breathe. It's a standalone story that's not connected to the current Alien canon.
Yes.
So that's probably the best thing to go, best way to go.
I might play devil's advocate here and say I'm a really big fan of Prometheus and Alien Covenant, and I'm kind of bummed that they're not continuing along those lines. But I equally like the idea of a standalone, and Fede Alvarez can do it.
I loved Prometheus. I thought Prometheus was amazing. Covenant, I walked out of. I was so fucking angry. I fucking hated that movie. So I'm hoping the standalone will be something good. And look, Evil Dead and Don't Breathe, I love both of those movies.
Yeah,
so
great.
I'm really excited about that.
I'd be upset that, I didn't like Covenant, loved Prometheus as well. But I did want to see an actual end to that trilogy or whatever they were doing with it.
I genuinely loved the Michael Fassbender android character. He was like, it was such a great performance from him and such a great villain. And I know maybe it played with the lore a little bit too much, but I just thought it was a really, really fun concept. But remember when Neil Blomkamp was going to do an Alien movie?
I was so excited
pumped.
for that.
I was so pumped, man.
I would have been on board for that. I like him.
And then he shit the bed.
I like
done those
Chappie.
great shorts.
I do, but I didn't like his
enjoyed
newest one,
Chappie.
whatever it was called. I don't even know what his newest one is called. So
Demonic. I didn't watch.
yeah,
that.
yeah. No. I like Chappie and Elysium though.
Yeah.
But studios thought he shit the bed. So, all right. Sequel to 1996 Twister is coming out in 2024. It is going, but the interesting thing, it's directed by Lee Isaac Chung, who directed Minari, Minari is nominated for a bunch of Oscars. If you're not familiar with it, Wayno or Geoff. So it's a very interesting choice for the Twister sequel.
Yeah.
I actually have not seen the original since I was a kid, so I don't remember much about it.
I actually watched it a few months ago. I don't think it needs a sequel. But I mean, we're so overly saturated with all these superhero movies. Maybe we need to get back into that disaster movie zone that we're in back in the 90s, because that was the big thing. Like every fucking disaster there could be, they made a movie about.
It's just everything.
Armageddon, what a classic that was.
The whole movie industry's fucked at the moment.
We got to bring back these really stupid concepts with big budgets, and I think that could tie in with Stallone today. But yeah, that's a dumb movie, but it's awesome. I haven't seen it, but I just love the idea of it. So awesome. If it trends in a direction of less superheroes, more weird shit, then sure.
Yeah, I'm all over that.
Just some kind of Rocky Creed related news. The Creed 3 is going to be 2 hours and 43 minutes. Why is every movie these days almost 3 hours long? Stallone is not in Creed 3, and I don't know, me and Geoff talked about it last week, but he's absolutely salty about the rights because he doesn't own it, and he hates Erwin Winkler because he won't give him the rights back to hand down to his family once he dies.
I reckon I'd be salty too,
Yeah. So apparently it's not about
his
money.
baby.
Yeah, and he doesn't own it.
Rocky started his career, So yeah,
I love Creed 1 and 2. But I don't remember who's directing Creed 3.
It's Michael B. Jordan, isn't it?
I think it is actually. Yeah, I think it's.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. That's right. It is. Yeah. All right. Next up, it's TV/movie related. Luther movie based on the Idris Elba Luther TV show. If you've seen it, it's called Luther: The Fallen Sun, and it's getting a streaming release in March 2023. So I have seen 3 out of 5 seasons of Luther and absolutely loved it. Just don't know why I didn't get around to the last 2 seasons. If you're looking for a short, British cop movie, recommend that. Have any of you seen the show?
No.
I've skimmed
past it because Elba rules, but
yeah. All right, and just 2 more trailers that came out. Not many trailers came out this week. M. Night Shyamalan's Locked in the Cabin full trailer came out this week. So the teaser came out a few weeks ago. Full trailer came out the other day. I thought the teaser looked better than the actual full trailer.
Okay, maybe I shouldn't watch it because I like the teaser, but haven't seen the full one.
The teaser was great. It's got Dave Bautista, Rupert Grint in it. What do you guys think of M. Night?
I'm always down for more M. Night.
Oh, okay. I was reading the chat, so I didn't hear what you were saying.
Typical. Look, I reckon he's a gun. I like his movies. I really do.
He's got more hits. He's got more misses than hits.
He's got enough hits. To give. The hits hit.
Yeah,
he's got enough good movies to give everyone a try.
Yeah.
I don't love old, but I'm glad it exists. And if he gets to keep making weird shit like that, then I'm all for it.
At least he's trying different shit. He just doesn't stick to the same formula. So,
he's getting better than he was for a while. His misses are less atrocious than they used to be.
I didn't really like old.
He's kind
of... no, neither did I, but it was a damn sight better than a Lost Airbender or a Happening or something.
It's good. Like when his movies come out, I watch them as soon as I can. Even though he's got a few that I don't like, but it's kind of like the opposite to what I was saying before. Like, he's making original movies. Like,
Yeah.
there are still people out there doing it, but most of them have already got a name to get some kind of budget to do it. So that is one good thing about him. It's not just fucking. He's not making bloody. Well, he has made a trilogy, but he's not making sequel after sequel.
No.
What did you guys think of the trilogy?
I
I'm a
loved
big
it.
fan of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like even Glass.
I didn't like Glass that much. I loved Unbreakable and Split, but
Where was James McAvoy's Oscar nomination for Split? I'm like,
Oh,
I'm
he's
not
so
ready to
good.
give up on that.
Yeah, I know. That was such a good performance.
Did Wayne or Geoff, did either of you see Split at the cinema?
No.
No, I
No.
didn't.
So did you know about the reveal before you watched it? Because that reveal, seeing Split in the cinema, not knowing that it was a sequel to Unbreakable, like it was mind blowing.
So I knew that, yeah, but I don't watch trailers. I don't read movie news. Nearly everything I watch, I go in not knowing fuck all about it. Pretty much, apart from who's in it and who directed it. I just try to stay away from that stuff because it gives away too much. And yeah, I'll give you a crazy fact. I'm running a movie show. I've just started a movie show on YouTube. I haven't been to the cinema for like 7, 8, 9 years. Something like that.
But he's got you covered though. He watches enough for like 3 people.
Yeah, that's right. Wayne's like, I think I've got a back catalogue big enough that we can just we can go for a while before I get a few new ones under the belt.
But no, with that Split thing, I mean, my friend very cleverly got me to watch Unbreakable before it came out because I hadn't actually seen it, and we did a thing where every week we would give each other a movie to watch. So he gave me Unbreakable. So yeah, I got to go see Split in the cinema and have my mind blown by that reveal.
Oh, that was fantastic!
Yeah.
Awesome.
Shout out Jaren if you're watching this.
All right, we've got one left. It's not movie related; it's TV related, and I just wanted to give a shout out on how awful this trailer was. The trailer for That 90s Show came out, and all I wanted to say is it's fucking awful, and that's it.
I'll take your word for that.
Just if you want to cringe for 2 minutes, watch that and never watch the show.
Which I got, Jacob.
Yeah, woo me.
Woo!
All right, we'll get
All right,
stuck into it. Movie of the week, Demolition Man. Geoff, do you want to give us a little bit of a rundown of it since this is your choice?
Sure. I mean, what's not to love about this film? When's it set? Like 2032. It comes off the backdrop of 1996. LA riots. The world's in disorder. It's basically a super villain against a super cop. They both get cryogenically frozen because they did some bad stuff. John Spartan accidentally blew up all the hostages, so he thought. They gets frozen. In the future, there's a bit of a resistance. It's not a dystopian future. It's probably more heading towards the future that I think we're heading towards now, where everybody's a little bit snowflakey and doesn't want to offend anybody.
Yeah.
But there's a resistance, and they unfreeze Simon, the bad villain, to come and try and fuck some shit up. But he was a bit out of control, so they get John Spartan to come out, and action and hilarity ensue. It's a great flick. I really enjoy it. I think it's more of a bloke flick than for the ladies. So
Who doesn't love Sandy B? Come on.
I know. No, I think that's the only reason my wife sat down and watched it with me. But I realized after watching it again recently, like, this is such a bloke's flick.
I like how you said we're heading our future's heading towards what they've got as their future. Like, I've got it written down here, all the things they're not allowed to do, like alcohol, caffeine, contact sports, meat, Bad language, chocolate, gasoline, uneducational toys, and anything spicy. Like they're all outlawed.
No sex.
Yeah, it does feel like we're heading that way. Like,
we're right on track, man.
Yeah.
And then like the no contact, you know, we've just gone through COVID, so you can't handshake or anything.
The film's underrated, like as a dystopia, because I know everyone thinks of it as this like cheesy sci-fi action, but it's also like a really great dystopian like world building of the future and stuff. Like, what is it like? Every restaurant now is Taco Bell or something. Like,
yeah,
shit like that. The consumerism angles, like, yeah, really, like genuinely great production design and world building. Besides all the like funny stuff.
Yeah, I must have watched the European release because they were all
yeah.
Or was it Pizza Hut? I don't know.
Yeah, American was Taco Bell. I always remember it being Taco Bell.
They changed it for different regions of the world.
Yeah, the one I watched recently was for the European, and it's got the dubbing, which is just so bad.
Is our version like Red Rooster or some shit?
I mean, that would be so good.
That's the main thing I wrote down about this movie. The whole like Pizza Hut Taco Bell fiasco, and the dubbing was awful. But they have this like fake Pizza Hut signs up, but in the background, because it's been restored, you can actually see the Taco Bell bells on the actual window next to the Pizza Hut
and
signs.
on the waiter's uniform and stuff.
Yeah, and then they go and sit down, and it's clearly not pizza they're eating.
It's such a pointless thing to change too. Like people will get it.
Yeah, people understand it, even if they don't know the restaurant. I got one interesting fact here that I had no idea until I read it. I didn't even notice while I was watching. Jack Black is in the movie.
What?
Yeah,
Jack Black is an extra. He's one of old mate Dennis Leary's guys that's sort of hanging around with him in the background. A Wasteland Scrap is his Wasteland Scrap number 2.
Number 2, yeah.
I thought he's got no beard. He's got short hair. It doesn't even really look like him. He's young.
Yeah, just found the picture on Google.
I gotta do that.
I think it might even be one of his first roles. I know he was in Biodome.
Yeah.
As Tenacious D, they were playing in the background of that. I can't remember if Biodome came out before.
No, it was after, I think. He's in like a whole bunch of movies as a sort of like as an extra, just in the background and shit like that. So in the 90s. So yeah, I can't remember what they were, but there was a few of them. I wrote down a couple of just things. I just screenshotted a couple of things that I thought were interesting. Wesley Snipes' kicks and punches look lurchy and awkward, and that's because he's too quick and they look blurred on the camera, so the director asked him to slow down.
Yeah, right.
Because he's too good. And the 3 seashells. Have you guys read what the 3 seashells are? How they work?
So I wrote down 3 seashells, and I was going to ask if you guys had any like theories on how they worked.
So Stallone said in an interview that 2 of the seashells are to be used like chopsticks to clamp together and pull waste out of the body, and the 3rd was used to scrape what was left over.
Oh yeah.
Which seems a lot. It seems a lot harder than just using toilet paper.
Yeah. I know when they came up with the idea, one of the guys, I can't remember the names, they called up and just said, what should we do for this scene? And the guys just looked at, there were seashells sitting on top of his toilet in a hotel room. He used to go, seashells. And that was about as creative as it got. They're like, okay, with the 3 seashells, that's what we're doing.
Tobes, how you going, mate? And yeah, I also saw that Dennis Leary thought this movie was a giant piece of shit.
Is that what he said?
Yeah. And
I was about to say I liked him in it. Fuck you, Dennis Leary.
Yeah.
They actually rewrote his role when he got cast because they wanted him to do one of his rants. So very similar to his song "Arsehole," the rant that he does down in the sewers. Yeah, so that's all I sort of wrote down. The other thing I wrote down, I actually love Sandra Bullock. She's one of my favorite actresses. Always have. Her fucking up of metaphors, are they? I guess, or sayings. Some of them are hilarious. He's finally matched his meat. You really licked his ass.
Yeah.
That's a great one.
God. Okay, let's go blow this guy.
You know, they wanted to get Jackie Chan to be Simon Phoenix.
Yeah, I read that.
Yeah, but
I didn't know that.
he turned it down because he didn't want to play a villain.
Yeah.
And they originally were going to get, and I'm glad they didn't. They wanted to get Steven Seagal and Van Damme were the front runners for John Spartan.
Yeah.
We dodged some bullets. Oh,
Yeah.
Van Damme would have been all right.
I think Van Damme could have pulled it off, but Steven Seagal.
Leave no cigar.
I think they wanted Van Damme to play the villain, Phoenix, and then and he didn't want to. He wanted to play Spartan.
Yeah.
So then they asked Seagal to do Phoenix, and he said no, I want to do Spartan. So
of course,
they both just wanted to play the good guys. So,
dude literally thinks he's a police officer.
He's a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
He's an absolute fucking idiot. He's hilarious. He's so delusional. He's so delusional about. He's like that. He's had people tell him how good he is his whole life. He's actually started to believe it.
Please don't pick any Seagal movies in the future.
No, God no.
I don't think I've seen many at all. And I'm happy
Speaking
that
of
way.
delusional, when they do the cryogenic frozen scene, Sylvester Stallone said the dummies that they made had to have extra large penises because he wanted to make sure that he looked, really manly down there for any of those scenes. So, and you can still see some of those in like some museums, waxworks museums around the country. I don't know if they've got the wang out or not, but yeah, they're the same ones that were used in the film.
If not, why bother?
One line that I really liked in the movie because it doesn't work is you were even better live than on Laserdisc. So like the movie came out in '93. DVDs didn't exist at all, and Laserdisc was going to be the next big thing. That didn't really pan out.
Like if that's the thing that ages the worst about your movie, you're doing okay.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of it's the jokes funny now. Like, it wouldn't be funny if Laserdisc took off, really. Like,
oh, no.
Yeah. So, but yeah. And then I read that when Phoenix is defrosting all the bad guys and shit, and he wants to defrost Dharma.
I just was literally
I love
say
that line. I love that line.
Like, back then, that would have been a pretty touchy subject because Dharma wouldn't have not long been put into prison.
Well, the funny thing was the movie was set in '96. The movie was made in '93, and Dharma died in '94.
Yeah,
like he was executed before '96.
Yeah.
But when they were making the movie, they didn't know when he was going to be executed.
The line almost feels more relevant now, and it could be more touchy now. But I was watching that back a couple days ago. That was one of the funniest moments of the movie for me.
Yeah,
Dharma, I love this guy.
I love this guy.
And it also just adds more to Phoenix's villainy, like him being a Dharma fan.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's all I've got. Have you guys got anything else about the movie you want to talk about? I've got a couple more of Sandra Bullock's lines. Looks like there's a new shepherd in town instead of sheriff. Chief, you can take this job and you can shovel it.
I like that. We go shovel it. Yeah, that's close enough.
Yeah.
I did write a couple lines down that I thought might be worth a mention. First, when Wesley Snipes is in the museum and he can't break the glass, and he's like, "How much do you weigh?"
Yeah,
And he
that's
just
so good.
like smashes the guy through it. I know that was a cracker. And when Sandra Bullock's in the car with Stallone, and they're talking about, it's not really a line, but just the Arnold Schwarzenegger library, and I thought it was cool. Had a quick nod to that.
Yeah, that was awesome because obviously Sly and Arnie had a little bit of a competition in those days.
Yeah.
Themselves. Yeah, that's so good. Like,
I just love hearing Sylvester Stallone refer to sex as the hunker chunker.
Oh, that's
The hunker
I should have
chunker.
wrote that down. That was hilarious.
Desire to have a cigarette and raid the fridge.
Do the hunker chunker. And the last line I wrote down, just at the end, I thought it was a cool line. He's like, "Be well," and Stallone's like, "Be fucked."
Yeah,
like,
be fucked.
I think I didn't realize until I read about it today. Like I didn't notice when I was watching, even though it was really obvious. Like at the start of the movie, Phoenix says something like when they're fighting or whatever. He says something like, "I forget my head if it wasn't on," or
I'd lose my head if it wasn't screwed on. 90s movies used to tie that stuff in all the time in action movies.
Sly's like, "I'll keep that in mind." And then he kicks his head off.
And then they run that whole dialogue again at the end, like, "Is it cold in here?" He's like, "Good fucking memory."
Yeah. Yeah, cool. All right, do we want to move on to our top fives?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to start, Geoff? This is your week.
All right, I will start. So I'll go from 5 up to my number 1. I feel like
Are we going to do like we did last week?
We'll do the 5, start from 5 and go up. All right, we'll do that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what you guys did, but I consciously steered clear of the Rambos and the Rocky films, so we could try and bring up some of Sylvester's other fantastic work, which there's not a whole lot of. The movies that he does that are great. The ones that he doesn't are pretty bad. But my number 5 has always had a soft spot in my heart is Cliffhanger. I just thought that was a really cool idea for an action movie. Some guys that climb rocks, beating up on terrorists. Like, how fucking good is that? And that scene where they're in the cave and they've only got the money and he's burning the money. He's like, fuck, it costs a fortune to heat this place. Like he's burning $30 million to stay warm.
Yeah, I love that movie too. Do you want to go next, bud?
I can. So I found this top 5 really hard because 18 out of 26 all accounted for Expendables, Rambo, and Rocky. So I tried to not include most of them. I went with 1998 animated classic Ants that everyone probably hates. If you don't know Ants, it's generally the Bugs Life rip-off movie that they tried to make. Apparently Stallone has a voice in it, but I haven't seen it since, I don't know, I was younger, so I didn't even know he voiced anyone. I just really enjoyed watching it when I was a kid, and I hope it holds up because I'm going to put it in my top 5.
I really liked it.
Ants is awesome. I love Ants.
I loved Ants. I'm hoping it's still good.
Yeah, no, it is. It's better than A Bug's Life. Yeah, I really liked Ants as well. But yeah, I think he's one of the main characters, Stallone.
Yeah, he's like the sergeant or the general or something of the soldiers. Yeah.
All right, do you want to go next, Jacob?
Sure thing. Are a couple honorable mentions allowed?
Yeah,
go.
One that I think is the best movie that he's in, but it's not really a Stallone movie, is The Suicide Squad. And I just want to shout that out because that's a great flick and he's great in it. And the other one that I just can't squeeze into the 5 is Over the Top, which I watched for the first time today. And he's genuinely kind of good in it. It's such a stupid movie and I love it for that. But if you look at it, it's actually kind of a sensitive and powerful performance. But my number 5 is Copland, which I think you're a big fan of, Wayno. And it's one of his best performances. I think the film isn't like the best. It's been quite a while since I've seen it, but it's like as close as he got to doing something like, I don't know, a Scorsese movie or something, in that he's just this sort of cop in this drama, like fighting against a pretty like old corruption and stuff. And he's really good in it. And it's one of the few times that we really saw him play more of an everyman rather than like the goofy over the top characters with funny names and stuff. And yeah, it's a really nice gem in his filmography.
Yeah, sweet. My number 5 is I struggled with my number 5 spot. I could have put a couple movies in. I thought about putting Ants in. I love Ants. I've seen it heaps of times. I actually don't really watch much animated stuff at all, but for whatever reason, really love Ants. I put in Escape Plan from 2013 with Arnie. This is like an old school 90s fucking action movie, and they made it in 2013. That's what I loved about it so much. And like Arnie and Sly together, they never really did that. Like just the two of them, sort of like a buddy. It's not a buddy movie, but well, kind of is, I guess. But yeah, about obviously Sly plays a dude that gets paid to go into the most high security prisons and try and break out so that they can avoid that in the future. Him and Arnie together, and it's got one. I rewatched it this week, and it's got one of my new favorite Arnie lines in it, which I totally forgot about. When they first meet and they have a bit of a punch on, Sly punches him really hard, and Arnie like just barely moves his head. He looks at him and he goes, "You hit like a vegetarian." This is like pissing me so laughing. Like, what an insult! You hit like a vegetarian. So yeah, I went with Escape Plan. I really like it. It's not going to win any Oscars or anything like that, but just an old school sort of.
It's the movie we all wanted in the 90s, wasn't it? We all wanted a Sly and Schwarzenegger movie back in the day.
That was a fun movie.
Yeah.
It took them that long to put aside their differences and do something together.
There's 2 sequels, but I watched them. Apparently they're woeful.
Yeah,
they only have they don't have Arnie in them. They only have Sly in them. So I'm not going to bother with them. What's your number 4, Geoff?
My number 4, and I revisited this again the other day, but I loved it back when I was a teenager. Was Death Race 2000. Where I'm not too sure, but I think it might be like one of the only films where Stallone actually plays the bad guy. He plays the guy who races against Frankenstein, and he's just a real prick, a womanizer, woman basher, just loves hurting people. It was a good movie. Not because of those things, mind you. It was just a good movie.
Yeah, I've never seen that one myself.
No, I was hoping to get to it before this, but didn't have the time. But it sounds like a lot of fun. It's
a real schlocky 70s sort of exploitation sort of film. Very different to the remake. The points weren't so much about trying to kill your opponents as it was just running over people in the community to get points. You run over geriatrics, you got the most points. And there's a great scene where they're just wheeling out all these old people on wheelchairs out of the hospital, and the woman's like, "What are they doing?" They're like, "Oh, it's euthanasia day."
Oh my god! I really need to watch this.
Bud, what do you got for number 4?
My number 4 is the first Expendables movie. So just a movie with all your favorite action stars growing up. It was just a treat knowing that all your favorites are going to all be in one movie. Especially when I was a big fan of wrestling growing up. They even threw Steve Austin in there. It's just a great fun action movie. I don't really know much about the other 2 that I didn't enjoy as much. But, I had some fun with Expendables. Not much to say.
That's a cool movie. He nearly died making that, I think.
Did he?
Broke his neck, yeah.
I didn't know about that, no.
Oh, there was one scene where I don't know if it was Sly or maybe it was one of the other actors, where he was running and some kind of spear or metal rod or something went straight past, like just missed him, would have killed him.
Eat your heart out, Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He broke his neck as well in one scene where he got thrown backwards and he hit his neck on a brick.
No.
Oh, right.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
he's getting on.
Yeah. He's old. What about you, Jacob? Number 4?
My number 4 is Demolition Man. So I don't know how much more we can add. I hope that's not too low, but it's great. It's one of his best films. It's one of his best roles. John Spartan is a pretty iconic character and one that really plays to Stallone's strengths. And yeah, I mean, what else can I add? It rules.
Yeah. Yeah.
On that, I was just reading today too, May 6th this year, Stallone announced Demolition Man 2 is in the works.
I don't know if I
really?
want that.
I don't know if we need it, but I'm pretty excited to see what it comes out like. It'll probably be dog water, but
he wrote. They had a Demolition 2 written in the 90s, and they wanted Jackie Chan again to play the villain, but it never happened for whatever reasons. I don't know why.
Surely they've got Jackie for this one.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, so they must have frozen the script for 2 decades.
Yeah.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. My number 4 is Lock Up. I thought I was rewatching this the other day, and then I realized I don't think I've actually seen it before. For whatever reason, I thought I'd seen it. I really liked it. It was a great movie. It's not, 1989. It's just sort of your typical sort of old school sort of action movie set in the lockup. And yeah, I liked it. I don't have a lot to say about it. I just really liked it.
I haven't actually heard of that one.
It's good. It's one of his better older ones for sure.
We'll put it on the list.
Yeah. Number 3, Geoff.
Paradise Alley. Back in the 70s again. It was his directorial debut. This is the film I was talking about before we sort of came on. He had written the script before Rocky. It's actually a very similar script to Rocky, except it's around wrestling, not boxing. And he's not the wrestler. It's his bigger, dim-witted brother.
Frankie Boy.
But he directed. He even did the song that's at the he sung the song that's at the start of the film and everything. It wasn't received very well in the day, but it's sort of been recognised now as probably one of his greater works. There's a heap of dialogue. He sort of plays this everyday sort of bloke, slumming, working hard. Tom Waits is actually in the film for a little bit as a character named Mumbles, in the pub playing on the piano.
Oh, that's cool.
It's a really good movie, and it shows how he doesn't just need to be that action sort of star. He can do these heavy dialogue driven sort of sensitive movies. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, cool. Do you think he'll still be alive by the time it come out? He could be gone any minute, couldn't he?
Yeah.
We got to freeze him now.
Yeah. What about you, bud? What's your next one?
My number we up to 4, right? 3.
Three.
Okay. James Gunn's Suicide Squad. He's just got a small part in it, but the movie was just too good that I could not put it on this list. Also, it was very hard to make this list. Have you guys seen the Suicide Squad? He's just so good as the King Shark.
Jinx.
It's so good.
If you haven't seen it, Wayne, just look up the clips of King Shark.
I've seen
Me
it.
so smart.
Yeah,
I don't remember it.
I had so much fun with it.
I think it'd be hard for Wayne to get past John Cena being in it.
Yeah,
not a fan.
Yeah,
Jacob, number 3.
My number 3 is one that's already been brought up, but it is Cliffhanger. Now, I wasn't sure how I was going to go with Cliffhanger, but I fucking loved it. It is awesome. All right. I mean, it might be Rennie Harlan's best work. I like the just it's so well crafted, genuinely. Like, yeah, it's like goofy and campy, but like the setting, like the long lenses they use for the mountains, like it's genuinely like that opening scene's genuinely terrifying and really intense. And you've got a really fun villain in John Lithgow, who played so many great villains in like the 70s and 80s and 90s. And it's just like Stallone's a compelling character. He's got a great backstory. He's got like trauma he's trying to work through. And yes, it's Die Hard on a mountain, but like, I mean, I'm stealing from my own review here, but like in Die Hard, does Sylvester Stallone lift a guy up into a stalactite in a cave and impale him on it? Like, that shit rules. Cliffhanger's awesome.
Honorable mention to Ace Ventura Pet Detective 2 also, that started with the same scene as Cliffhanger.
Oh, God. I haven't seen it.
All right, my number 3, it's the only one of the Rockies, Rambo's, Expendables that I put in. It is the very first Rocky. It's such a good movie. It's not like the other Rockies aren't really anything like the first one. The first one is like this sort of drama romance. There's not really much boxing in it at all. It's about him and Adrian meeting and all this other shit. Rocky Balboa is a very similar film. I really like that as well. But the 2 to 5 can go and get fucked as far as I'm concerned. It's just like montage after montage. But yeah, I love the first Rocky movie. I do like the Creeds, even though I can't really remember them. But yeah, that's my number 3. Everyone knows it. There's not really much more I can say about it. Cliffhanger, good too. Chris collects things.
You know it, Chris.
What Elf's favorite movies are Rambo, American Werewolf in London. Okay. Cool. We're doing our top 5 Stallone movies at the moment, Chrissy boy. Number 2, Geoff.
Stallone, underrated cameo in American Werewolf in London from Stallone.
Yes. My number 2's Nighthawks. 70s again. Rutger Hauer plays the villain. I absolutely love that guy. He's probably one of my all-time favorite actors. And he's just so menacing and evil in this movie. And Stallone plays an undercover cop who gets poached by an anti-terrorism team, and they get trained up in anti-terrorism because Rutger Hauer is a terrorist on the run because he made a mistake in hiding, and he's trying to get back in the good books with the big terrorist guys. And he starts to menace New York. It's got such a good opening scene where there's these thugs on the New York streets about to terrorize this lone woman, and you think that she's about to get into some shit, and then Sly takes the mask off, and it's him undercover working the streets, starts chasing after this thug in this dress and high heels. It's fantastic. It's a really good movie.
I saw that. I watched the start of it the other day. I haven't finished it, but yeah, I saw that bit. It's funny. How do you say his name, Rutger? How do you say his last name?
Rutger Hauer? Is that how you say it?
I have no idea.
I say with no. I've always said Hauer, but that's with no authority.
I've said Hauer as well. I've always said Rutger Hauer.
I always say Hauer, but I don't say Rutger. I say Rutger.
Rutger.
I got no idea how it's actually said.
I know, but I love him. Hobo with a shotgun. Fucking such a
that's great. That's so much fun.
Chris is
Hey, Geoff.
If anyone doesn't understand that, go back and watch my end of year wrap up for the reselling lives. It was pretty fucking funny. I don't know what kind of drugs Chris was on that night. But number 2.
Just wanted to ask Geoff something. You said earlier there was one movie in your top 5 that Stallone wrote. Have you talked about that one yet?
Yeah, that was the Paradise Alley. Yeah.
Oh, Paradise Alley. I didn't know he did a wrestling movie. I should have, if I knew that, I probably would have watched it.
Yeah.
I really should have done more homework because all these movies I've never heard of.
It's actually,
I'm with you, buddy.
A really good movie.
Yeah.
There's a few I've added to my watch list.
Yeah, me too. But Paradise Alley sounds pretty cool. Anyway, number 2, this was going to be my number 1. But the more I thought about it, the reason I love this movie is not just Stallone, but everyone else involved. So put it down to number 2. Is Creed 1. So yeah, I just was a big fan of Ryan Coogler coming off Fruitvale Station, Michael B. Jordan, and Tessa Thompson. I love everyone in this movie, but put this at number 2. Stallone is just, he comes back and he's like the old grizzled guy, and he needs to train. I'm forgetting his name, the guy's son. Forgetting his name now. Adonis, Creed's son. Yeah, and Michael B. Jordan. I'm talking about everyone else, but yeah. Yeah, Stallone got nominated for Oscar for this. And it's just his return to form, and everyone in this movie was exceptionally well done.
Cool.
Not much to say.
Jacob, number 2.
Yeah, so I didn't know about the no Rocky's Rambo as well rule, but my number 2 is Rocky 1. Buddy, to go opposites with you. But again, it's the movie that gave us Sylvester Stallone. There's so much of him in it. And the fact that he was able to get it off the ground really started his career. And it's, like you said, just a great romantic drama first, and the boxing movie second. And it sort of maybe even started that great sports movie trend of the hero losing to build character and then winning later, and, like being a superhero, like with all the other movies on. But yeah, Rocky's just genuinely one of the great dramas of the 70s and in film history as a whole.
It is. It really is. It is a great movie. My number 2, I grew up with this shit. Cliffhanger. Fucking love Cliffhanger. Starring Michael Rooker. I love Michael Rooker. John Lithgow. John Lithgow's, I think, even though Third Rock from the Sun is very popular still, I think a lot of people don't realize how good of an actor he was before that. Played a lot of bad guys. Incredible actor. I can't really. You said it perfectly before, Jacob. It's such a great movie, just fun. And I talked about this last week when I talked about Fall. I am shit scared of fucking heights.
Fall's underrated.
Yeah. So those scenes those scenes make me sweaty, and not in a good way. Rocky has a great music theme too. Yeah. So Cliffhanger.
Sounds like I should have rewatched Cliffhanger because it probably would have been in my top 5.
Yeah, it would have been.
It's been so long.
You're letting the team down, man.
Yeah, I didn't have to rewatch it. I've seen it that many times.
Yeah,
it's so good. All right, time for our number 1s. Let's go, Geoff. What's your number 1?
My number 1 was Copland. I much what Jacob said before. I think he was just. It was one of his masterful performances where he just plays this down on his luck cop that just had a gutful, and it just goes through the whole story. And he's just an everyday Joe Blow, and you really connect with him. I thought it was a really good performance and a great film.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. What's your number 1, Bud?
My number 1 is the first Rocky movie. Essentially, everything that Jacob said. It's his breakout. What we know Stallone for. We wouldn't have any of his other work without him blowing up with the first Rocky and making an impact. And for that's my number 1. It's a classic. And it's just it's an iconic movie, and that is why it's my number 1.
Yeah, fair enough.
There's not much else you could say that Jacob already said.
Sorry,
it's all right.
It was daylight when we. It was the sun.
Your room is pitch black.
Yeah, I was like, I can't. Yeah, I'll put my phone torch on for a second. What's your number 1?
To overcome. Just swapping with Buddy. My number 1 is Creed 1. Look, I'm young, so that's what I grew up with. That's my Rocky movie. I had seen the original, but I haven't seen all of them. And it is just the perfect boxing movie. And while yes, Rocky's the original, but I think Creed is just as good a Rocky Balboa story as the original is. And I think it's Stallone's best performance. He is heartbreaking in that film, and he's such a great mentor. And it's us seeing everything he's learned over the years, and all of the pain that he's gone through, and how he's able to sort of translate that into trying to help this young man not go through the same pain. And on top of that, it's just a fucking great film. The boxing scenes, the one take fight, incredible. That inspirational speech he gives Adonis at the end, like, you're a Creed, you know, like, oh, it's so good. Creed rules.
It's good. It's such a good transition too. Instead of rebooting a franchise, it just carries it on, and it's a genuinely fantastic passing of the torch. Instead of just being that cheesy fucking reboot to try and cash in, I think it was a really clever way to do it.
And I think they did a pretty good job with Creed 2 as well. So I'm hoping 3 will, continue that trend.
See how we go without Stallone, but
fingers crossed.
My number one is Copland. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. Like, not just Stallone. I fucking love this movie. The cast is incredible. I rewatched it the other day. I didn't need to rewatch it, but I did. Brilliant. Like Geoff said before, and so did Jacob, I think. Stallone just plays it down on his like sort of fat loser. He does not really. It's kind of the opposite to what he does in every movie. But yeah, I thought it was a brilliant movie. Like, I'm a big fan of the '90s movies. I don't know how to put it. I don't like current movies really. I do. There's heaps of good stuff coming out, but I just think '90s was the last sort of golden era for movies, and this is right high up there with one of my favorites. Highly recommend everyone going to see it.
I reckon we'll probably living together when that came out, Wayno, and I remember drunken talks about this movie for hours.
It came out in '97, so maybe not. But
no, maybe not. Must have been when we were living together. We would have watched it together.
Yeah. I think we had the poster on the wall, maybe.
Yeah, we did. Arlington Road as well was another one. I'm pretty sure we had up on the wall.
Yeah. I rewatched that the last couple of weeks ago as well. Fucking love that movie. But yeah, Copland. I don't think did any of us actually talk about what the story's about?
A little bit.
It's hard to. It's basically about all these cops live in this fucking little town. Sylvester Stallone is their sheriff. He's the sheriff of this little town, and he's the sheriff because he can't become an actual police officer because he fucking lost his hearing and shit. And he basically just hates himself, hates his life, like he's a loser. And all this shit goes down, and internal affairs come in, and if you say any more than that, you probably give away shit. So highly recommend everyone going and watching it. So that's it. That's our top 5 done.
Probably been like 8 or 9 years since I last watched Copland, so I'm gonna have to get the rewatch going soon.
Oh, it's so good. It is so good. Creed was pretty good. Yeah, cool. Evening Clowns. It's after dark now. I could come out. Okay. Did you do the trivia for us today, Geoff? This week?
I did. Some of the stuff we've already mentioned, so there'll be some easy ones for you guys, but there's also a few tricky ones. So we'll see how we go.
Stallone themed trivia.
It's to do with Demolition Man. I stuck it with Demolition Man.
Okay. Cool.
Loz watched the movie with me yesterday, and she's like, hit me with the quiz because she thought, I watched it, I'm going to be a gun. She got one right. So,
oh no.
Yeah, I watched it 3 days ago, so I'm fucked.
So, Jacob, what we do is I'll just read it out, and then you just say your name. Don't be like me and forget what my name was when I try to call it out.
John Spartan.
Yeah. So I'll just roll straight into it. Number 1, which movie poster do we see on Lieutenant Huxley's office wall?
Buddy.
Wayne already got it.
It's Lethal Weapon 3.
It is Lethal Weapon 3. This should be a pretty simple one. What is the password to the handcuffs that Simon Phoenix is wearing during the parole hearing?
I don't remember.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
The parole officers, do you have any last words? And Simon Phoenix goes, yeah, teddy bear. And then the cuffs open up, and then Carney's. We've touched on this one. What word did Huxley mistakenly say instead of sheriff in the phrase, "It looks like there's
Jacob.
a new sheriff"?
Shepherd.
Shepherd. Is someone
Wouldn't have
taking
known that
down-
if we hadn't talked about it. Like,
Yeah. Where we at? We got one for Wayno, one for Jacob. What famous real-world actor became president in the film?
Wayno.
Wayno?
Arnie.
Arnie. Unless you did a little bit of research, you might not know this. What actress did Sandra Bullock replace for the role
Wayno.
of Lieutenant Huxley? Wayno.
It's fuck. I read it today, and now I've gone blank. You know,
Anyone want to have a guess?
could be anyone.
Buddy, I'll just take a guess.
Yeah.
Sharon Stone.
No. It was, and I think she would have done a good job, Laurie Petty from
Oh.
Tank Girl.
I read it today. That's how good my memory is.
This is a tricky one. Betty White. This is a tricky one unless you're paying a lot of attention. But what was the date when John Spartan was placed into cryostasis?
No.
It's been fun, guys.
November 20, 1996.
I knew that.
This should be an easy one. In Demolition Man, we hear of the word franchise war. Who was the winner of the franchise wars for the restaurants?
Well, it depends.
Wayno.
Taco Bell or Pizza Hut?
There we go.
There you go.
Hopefully I've written this question okay because I was sick when I did it. But what actor who went on to become a household name in the 90s is seen in the film but not credited?
Buddy. Jack Black.
It's not Jack Black.
Oh,
He's credited.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'll give up.
It's Rob Schneider.
That was my second guess.
Yeah, he's not actually credited in the...
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like he's
That's
just
weird.
supporting.
who is he in it? Where is he in it? Just
He's one of the cops. He's even got lines, but he's not actually credited
yeah,
for
right.
the movie.
Is he in stuff before that? Has he had many movies before
I don't
Demolition
know.
Man?
Well, he was in he's the movie before that. He was in Judge Dredd.
Yeah, that's right.
Might need to double check that, but that's what the internet said, that he wasn't credited. So,
Okay.
what was John Spartan's rehabilitation hobby?
Wayno.
Knitting.
Oh, yes.
That's the one question that Loz got right. Well done, Loz.
That was
if you're
one
watching.
of the few I knew as well.
This is a tricky one, but we'll see how we do. Where does Simon end up acquiring all of his guns?
Buddy.
Wayno.
Buddy?
The museum.
It is a museum. I'll give you half a point, but do you know the name of the museum?
Fuck knows.
The St. Angeles Museum of History.
Okay.
And that was the 10th question. I did have the 11th question just to throw in there, but we all know it was Jack Black.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think we had Jacob with 1 and Wayno with 3. Is that right?
Sounds all right. I'll take it.
Half a point.
Yeah, buddy.
You got half a point.
Yeah, what do you got?
Yeah,
I'll
I'll
I'd
give
give him a full
I'll
point for that.
I'll give you one. It was a museum.
Oh, thank you.
So that's it.
We'll have to tally it up. Yeah.
We're all done. What are we at? Hour and 5 minutes. Pretty good.
Not bad.
That's good.
Thanks for coming on, Jacob. It was awesome.
Yeah, no, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Anyone wants to catch up with Jacob, the links are in the description for his YouTube and Instagram. I didn't know you until Buddy told me about you a week ago. So I've only watched a few of your videos and they're really good. So I highly recommend
thanks.
people.
And yeah, just follow me on Instagram. I post everything I'm doing there. Currently counting down my top 100 favorite actors, which is a lot of fun. You can yell at me for my picks being wrong. I talk about movies a lot. Yeah.
I gotta ask Geoff this. Geoff, have you seen Jacob's post about his top 100 actors?
Here we go.
Oh, I haven't. Do I need to check this out? I'll have to check it
No,
out.
He put as an honourable mention, couldn't make the top 100. He put Gary Oldman.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I'm sorry.
Wow.
I forgot
I'm sorry. Look. I love him in Leon. I love him in a few things, but sometimes I think he does a bit too much. He's just never been one of my absolute favorites.
That's one of my favorite memes. Is imagine you go down the shop, you buy your groceries, you pick your kids up from the school, you go get cash out of the bank, and then pay your bills, and the director calls cut, and you realize that you're actually Gary Oldman.
That's how good of an actor he is.
Yeah.
No, he's great. I'm into a lot of the artsy fartsy people, but no, I'll cop that. Wayno.
No, look, that's fair enough, and I think, I mean, there's a generational difference as well.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I can respect that.
Yeah, but apart from that, he does have really good content. So head over and give him a follow. Yeah, I've really enjoyed a few of the videos I watched in the last week.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, cool.
Awesome.
All 10 of you watching, go subscribe to Jacob.
Yes.
Yes, do it. We got to share the love.
Half of them probably came here from him.
I'll take what I can get.
Probably.
Here we go. I'm enjoying your 100 list, Jacob. You put so much work into it. It's sad you need the disclaimer, though. You've even got a disclaimer about the fact that they're just his favorite. And
my best friend of 10 years told me that if De Niro's not in my top 10, he's never speaking to me again. So, the opinions get heated over these things.
Everyone does disclaimers these days on their list. Watch any YouTuber count down their top 10.
Yeah.
This is my list.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
We're heading to that world of Demolition Man where you have to cover your ass all the time.
If I'm being objective, Oldman's probably in the top 20. He's just never been someone I've personally connected with.
Yeah.
Before we do go, I guess I might mention that I've started a Discord page too that's interactive. So if people have Discord and they want to jump in, I'm always floating around and I'll be in voice chat if you want to jump in and have a chat or something like that. There's a space there where you can chuck in some films that you think might be good for us to check out as well. So hit it up. We'll post a link or something somewhere. Wayno's the guy who knows how to do all that stuff.
Yeah, we'll chuck a link up on Instagram or something.
Yeah.
So people can join if they want. Scotty Garvin's in. How you going, mate? What's a Discord? I'm still trying to figure that out, Papa Fish, myself. So Geoff had to talk me through it like I was a baby the other day when I was trying to sign up. So that was pretty funny. But yeah, it looks pretty cool. So we can watch movies together and shit. Should be fun.
Yeah.
I won't have heaps of time to be on there, but when I do get time, it'll be fun. All right. Thanks everyone for coming on. Thanks everyone for watching. We still had a solid 10 or 11, 12 in tonight, which is pretty good considering a lot of people are on holidays. So thanks everyone that watched. And we will see everyone next week. We're going to do next week's video.
Yes, we better do that.
We have to say what we're doing next week. It's yours, buddy.
Buddy.
All right. So next week, the movie I picked is Glass Onion, only because I figured it's a new movie. It's the start of the year. Picking a new movie gives us an excuse to count down our top movies of 2022, and just to see if the algorithm picks any more people up. It's just an experiment on my end to pick a new movie, and we can put top 5 movies of 2022 on the title.
This is just Buddy's ploy to get Wayno to watch new releases.
That too, because they haven't seen Knives Out 1.
I actually watched Knives Out and Glass Onion today.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Does it get your approval?
I actually really, really enjoyed both of them. Yeah.
Yes.
It was really good. Daniel Craig was just so hilarious.
He's so good.
In that role. I just kept cracking myself laughing with some of the shit he says. Because look, I can't believe Daniel Craig just said that.
I know, right? Yeah, he's fantastic.
You thought the Stallone. Top 5 is hard, buddy. Top 5 movies of 2022 is going to be
I
hard. for me.
figured
don't know if
it
I've
would
watched
be,
five.
and
I've got a few contenders there.
Yeah, no, I'll be able to make 5 easy. If there's any more than that, I might be struggling.
I see top 6.
I've seen fucking 200.
I think about like 171 or something.
Man,
Oh, my lord.
we're
No.
nerds.
Of just 2022 movies.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. I've seen like 170 all up.
And they're all Arnie movies, right?
Yeah. See, this is the thing. I go through. I always went through phases with movies, and I think it was because I was only watching new movies, and I just got so sick of it. They're all like there's only so many times you can watch a fucking $5 million coming of age indie movie. Like, there's that fucking many of them, and then the blockbusters and shit, they're all the same. And then
Yeah.
a few months ago, like there's always been all these. Like I was always trying to keep up, like with new movies and stuff, and I'd always put off watching them and shit. A few months ago, I was like, "Fuck this! I'm just gonna start watching all the old movies that I really wanted to see, and I never got around to seeing."
Yeah.
And now I'm finding I'm watching a lot more movies because I'm actually really
Which is
enjoying
a bonus. Yeah.
I'm really enjoying it. And then every now and then I chuck a new release in, and I'm finding that I am enjoying them more now because I'm mixing it up a bit. So yeah. I'm very keen to check out Glass Onion.
Awesome.
I haven't seen it yet, so it'll be interesting. It'll be good to do a movie that I haven't seen before. So it'll be fun.
It was a bonus too because Janelle Monáe was in that film, and I just love her music. I just think she's spectacular. So
She's a great actor too. She's been in a few things. Like
she's got some. I didn't realize till today, but she's actually been in a lot of films, and a lot of films I've seen, and didn't realize it was even fucking her. So
yeah, cool. All right. So everyone can watch that. It's on Netflix, so it's pretty easily accessible to everyone. So you can check it out, and we can talk about it next week.
go watch it now.
Thanks everyone for watching. We will see you all next week. Bye.
Yeah.